Patrick Kane is still a free agent, and we've been seeing the question, can he possibly return to the Chicago Blackhawks for this upcoming season? And that's what we're going to be answering today, if that is actually possible or not, and if the Blackhawks will be willing to do it. Now, before we get into all of this, we noticed that 94% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel, so if you're looking for a spot to get all your Blackhawks news and everything else, you're in the right spot. Make sure to stay a while, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the breaking news. But that is the question that we're going to be answering today. Could the Blackhawks possibly, in any way, re-sign Patrick Kane, bring him back to the organization where he grew up, where he became the future Hall of Famer that he is? And to keep it simple, just right off the bat, I think no. I really don't think the Blackhawks will do this. And we have a few examples as of why, a few reasonings as of why this could be the possibility. Now, things also change, you know. Ideas change, minds change, but this is from what we have so far, and I really think that this will not continue. But first of all, we know that the Blackhawks are not a great team. They have been not great this season so far, but they haven't been bad, and they're also a very young team. Patrick Kane would have a spot on this team if they were to, you know, re-sign him, put him on the forwards, but I don't think that's the plan. You know, I think the defense needs a much bigger upgrade first, maybe then even another star goalie, and then I think you deal with the forwards after. So he would have a spot, but I really don't think the Blackhawks are in that sort of situation to be able to do that. Now, Noah, what do you think about that idea, just before we get into the nitty-gritty of all of this?
I'm on the exact same page as you with this. There's no shot this is happening. You know, Patrick Kane, he's on the tail end of his career. He's I wouldn't say cup chasing. Well, I guess he kind of is cup chasing, but I think he's trying to go where he's best suited to win a cup. And you know, I mean, we've heard Dallas, we've heard Florida, we've heard where else? The Rangers, Buffalo. Yeah, you know, I think they're all in much better positions than Chicago. But I mean, what else? Who else to bring in to help develop Bedard than Patrick Kane? I mean, that would be a storybook ending for Patrick Kane, and I think it's a storybook start for Connor Bedard.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, what other mentor than probably one of the greatest Blackhawks of all time in Patrick Kane?
Yeah.
So, you know, this question was asked here. You can see in May 12th. This is when this was before they drafted Bedard. This was before the lottery. Is there a chance that any reunion of Patrick Kane in free agency? Blackhawks GM Kyle Davidson said, "We made our decision that we're going to move on from Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane." Now, obviously, like I said, things can change, ideas can change, and that was, you know, almost a year ago now, like probably 3/4 of a year. So I still think that he sticks by that because, like I said, they do have a lot of prospects, a lot of young guys on this team that they want to move in. I remember as well seeing somewhere else that they said he wants to give Connor Bedard and the younger guys the opportunity that they gave Patrick Kane and moving into a whole younger system, not really having anybody mentor him. Obviously, there's Corey Perry, Nick Foligno, but like nobody to take the eyes away, nobody take the ice time away from Connor Bedard, Lucas Reichel, those younger guys, and they're the main storyline of this Chicago Blackhawks team going forward. I guess we can assume, you know, they seem to be hopping on the backs of these guys, putting it on them, no pressure on them, but you know, let them know that we're riding them into the future and that they're going to be the future of this team.
They kind of went in and then, you know, with the whole, I think Toews was 03 and Kane was 2007, both drafted. You know, I don't really think they had too many real star players in that period, that 4-year gap, that 4-year period. They kind of let them in, let them develop. I mean, obviously Patrick Kane is going to go down as probably the greatest American to ever play the game. So, I mean, obviously you didn't really need crazy guys there to help him develop. I mean, he was gonna pan out anyway. And I mean, Jonathan Toews was always going to be a stud centerman in the league. And I think there's no difference with Connor Bedard. I mean, obviously he has all the tools. I mean, we've been saying it for the past 3 or 4 years that Connor Bedard is the next generational talent. So I think there's crazy similarities between him and Bedard and Patrick Kane easily.
No, you're absolutely right as well. Like just that, along with that is Lucas Reichel and, you know, a Jonathan Toews. Like you can assume like a tandem, like a 1 and 2 guys, and they can give those guys, Lucas Reichel and Connor Bedard, the same opportunity heading into the future because they're in no pressure. They've had their dynasty in the, you know, 2013-14, that time period.
They were so good.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that they're hoping that same thing will play out with Bedard, Reichel, and the Chicago Blackhawks that they're going to have in a few years. You know, let them work their way up to become those superstars more than they already are around the league and be household names for people that don't even watch hockey and stuff. You know, go ahead.
I got a question for you.
Yep.
It's just usually not the case, but We were talking about how like the development and how good it would be to bring in Patrick Kane to help develop the young guys. What do you think about bringing Patrick Kane and maybe even Jonathan Toews in as coaches? You know, maybe we've seen that with Paul Byron in Montreal. Daniel Alfredson just got hired in Ottawa as like a special advisor sort of player development thing. So, I mean, I love it.
Yeah, no, I do like the idea. I'll put this in a two-parter here. I think, for one, absolutely. I think Jonathan Toews, he's taking a year off. But I think, we kind of know what that means. I really don't see him coming back next year to play again. I can see him after this season, maybe mid-season if he makes a decision for sure on the rest of his career. I can definitely see Jonathan Toews becoming, some sort of the staff in Chicago. Yeah. Definitely. Now, Patrick Kane, I think Patrick Kane still has a couple years left. Like you said, he's not cup chasing, but teams that want to sign Patrick Kane are cup chasing, and that's where he's going to. Those are his likely targets. I don't see many teams that are kind of the bottom of the table looking to sign Patrick Kane. So I think when Patrick Kane gets his career done, I think I can see him also becoming some sort of that staff, maybe even a scout in some way, because I feel like he knows that the U.S. program well as London, because that's where he was. So he was part of, the CHL, part of the whole junior area down in the U.S. and everything. So he's been around North America, and he knows the game very well. So I think you could see Patrick Kane as definitely a staff member a few years later than Jonathan Toews if that decision does come down.
So he's still playing,
Yeah, so I do think I can see that in the future, though. And just as well, one more thing before we wrap this one up here. This was what Patrick Kane said after his final game. I'm not sure if it was the regular season with the Rangers or if it was after the playoffs, but he was asked about a possible return to the Blackhawks in free agency. And he said, they're rebuilding, so it never really crossed my mind, to be honest with you. That again, kind of correlates with what Kyle Davidson said, that they're moving on from those guys. That kind of means, like, we're heading in a different direction. Obviously, they're going to be available at some point down the road. We don't really know if that's going to be an option, though, especially what Patrick Kane is thinking. Rebuilding, he don't really assume that he's going to be back there as a player role. But, like I said, things can definitely change. Kyle Davidson's opinion might have changed a bit on that. The Blackhawks might be a bit better than expected by the time Patrick Kane is obviously ready to sign, healed up after his injury, after his surgery. So, right now, I'm going to say no, they don't re-sign Patrick Kane just because of what we've seen from this year going forward up until this point, as well as Patrick Kane's stance on it. Obviously, he probably wants another cup. That's what you're playing for. You're playing for a cup. Yeah. You're not going to go to Chicago to get a cup right now. So, I mean, we're going to see some more stuff heating up around the Patrick Kane situation as time proceeds. Now, he's going to be back. I think he said after October is when he's going to start to, look around and make his decision. It's not going to be before October for sure. So I can probably see maybe around mid to late November, early December is when we see Patrick Kane re-sign. He was ahead of schedule last update we had on his injury and his surgery, so good sign for that. But we'll see where he goes. Obviously, this is going to be much bigger news down the road when he does choose to sign somewhere. Maybe it is the Blackhawks. Yeah. Very unlikely, but, we never know, really, in these days of the hockey world. Anything can really happen.
That's a true point.
Yeah, exactly. Anything can happen. But that's all we have for this video. Let us know down below in the comments what you think about this whole situation. If Patrick Kane could possibly come back, maybe Kyle Davidson or Patrick Kane change their mind. Let us know what you think, or where he will go if they do not re-sign Patrick Kane. But we love reading your comments on this whole thing. We like the conversation. It's very fun. That's what we made this channel for. That's what we joined the channel for. And it's very exciting. So thank you for watching. If you did like the video, make sure to like it. And also make sure to subscribe, like I said at the beginning, so you don't miss out on any of the news from the Blackhawks and around the rest of the league. But that's all we got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.